I would, Father, we thank you for tonight. Thank you for the privilege to learn and to unlearn. We ask that you cause a permanent damage to our ignorance tonight and cause us to learn something that will change our life for better and cause us to learn something that will make us what you have designed us to be. Tonight will not just be a waste of time, but it will be productive. Grant us utterances and let the entrance of your word brings understanding to the simple, brings light and understanding to the simple. We ask for the light of your word. We ask for the light tonight. The Bible says that there is a spirit in man, and it is the breath of the Almighty that brings all understanding. Brings all understanding by the reason of your breath. In Jesus' name. Amen. Disclaimer, this is not a religious gathering, but I still believe that you take God with you wherever you go. And this has nothing to do with religion. So it's going to be practical steps to life. And some of the things you're going to be learning are things that I have applied them in my own life. And I've seen it worked. And the strange thing is that when I was applying them, I didn't even know that it's a principle. I didn't know that it has a name. And so I decided to pull it together and decide to share it with you. And you're going to understand why it's important to do that. And you're going to understand later. I don't want to jump over myself. So some of the things I'm going to say tonight, to some of you, it's a fresh understanding. Actually, it's not going to be something completely new, but it's a framework. And when you build the framework, you don't manufacture new material to build the framework. Okay, let me understand. Let me know if you guys understand what the framework is. Can you type in the section so that I'll be looking at the other screen because I want to see what you're typing. But can you type in the comment section in your word what is a framework? And I want you to take note of that because for the next 6 months, what we are giving you is framework. For those that had the opportunity to be interviewed by me, I tried to explain what we mean by building a growth framework. So I want to see what your understanding of framework is. Okay. Okay, there's a whole lot of comment. I didn't know. Onye Dikashi says framework is just a skeleton of something. Okay. Framework is a guide to something. Framework is a structure that is needed to build. I love that. I love that analogy. It's a structure that is needed to build. Abdul Warid say framework means system. Yeah, it can be a system. Say it's a structure. Say framework is the body of systems to achieve something. I get intelligent people for this class. So. Oh my God. Framework is a guide to something. Framework is synonymous to structure or skeleton part of something. Framework is a design behind certain situation. I love that. Framework is a structured pattern and in a particular group. Framework is a blueprint. Oh my God, I give thumbs up. Framework is a blueprint. Framework is a step by. What's the name? Dami, I think we should close this meeting already. These guys already know what I want to say. What?
Like,
I'm telling you. Okay, thank you so much for those wonderful feedback. And this is completely, this is right. This is correct. So when we think about framework, the first thing that comes to my mind is building. Someone said this is structure, something by a structure by something is built. So if they are building edifice, the first thing you see after they have laid the foundation, the next thing is they use either wood or iron. Most likely they use bamboo wood and build how that building will look like. I don't know if you have seen it before. I wish I had picked up I've downloaded one and I've showed you. So they build that framework with either wood or iron, or generally with poles. So, and that framework holds the structure before they begin to bring in blocks and cement. So, what we are going to give you is framework. And when you are building framework, you don't go and start manufacturing your poles. You have to, either if you're using either iron or wood, the poles had already been made. So you pick an existing poles and then you use it to build the framework. So what we are building here, it's a framework. And everyone here, or many of you already have the materials with which to build that framework. So our function for the next 6 months is to teach you how to build those frameworks. It's not everyone who has access to poles, who has bamboo wood, who has access to the materials to build framework that knows how to build them. So our function is not to give you the materials. You already have them. But it's to show you how to use those materials to build a framework that can help make your growth journey faster. So that's what I'm saying. I say this to establish the fact that most of the things you're going to be hearing in the next 6 months, as you might have seen, they're not completely new. They are things that you know before, just that you don't know to use them the way you are supposed to use them. Now, if you're part of the past series of lessons, you agree with me that that's what happened. Of course, I was part of the lessons, and what I noticed was that Shiman was literally reminding some of you what you already know. And it was coming in as light. Okay. Now, when light comes in, light does not bring in new things. What light does is to reveal what is already existing. So what we're going to be doing is to bring light to what you already have. So the resources with which to build that framework, you have them. The knowledge, you already have them. So what we are going to talk for the next 6 months, because we are going to be meeting 12 times in 6 months, you know some of them already. And I say that to establish what we're going to do in the next 6 months. Now, having said that, I also want to say that I need you to write. And because this particular session, although it's recorded, will not be uploaded on the platform. So I need you to write. And as time goes on, we are going to talk about mastering the art of learning, because learning is part of an intelligence system. You learn that later. Now, one of the best ways to learn is to write. So learn to write. Have a piece of paper. I know you are tired. I know it's midnight. I know you want to go to bed. And I don't want to take us beyond the next 1 hour. So we're going to be together for the next 1 hour. But I need you to write, because as you write, it helps your brain. We're going to discuss that in detail. So please write. Now, having said that, I want to quickly share my screen so that we can go into what we have for today. Again, bulk of the work we're going to be doing today is similar to what Shiman did with growth mindset in the first session, which is to define the terms. So it's similar to what he did. So that's what we're going to do. I hope I know how to share my screen now. Okay, give me a sec. Okay. I'm sharing my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Where's my screen? Dami, I can't see my screen. What's happening?
From your system.
Okay, I can see it now. Yeah. Great. Okay. Who can tell me what can you see on the screen? use comment section on the screen. What can you see? I want to see how you understand the image before I explain it. What can you see on the screen? I want to be, okay, let me see. Okay, somebody say you can see a wheel. Isaac say you can see a wheel. Promise say you can see a clockwork. A clockwork to your screen is no longer showing. Okay. Oh, my screen is no longer showing. Can you guys still see my screen? A brain behind
I can see your screen. Okay.
Yeah. A brain behind a screw, a brain and a gear, from clock to spark. Okay, you can see clock to spark. Okay, we can't see your screen. Maybe you should try and leave and join again, because someone can see my screen. I can see your screen, sir. Great. A brain behind. Okay, great. So I want you to take note of these two things. There is a brain and there is a wheel, and we're going to explain that in simple terms. So, what is a system? Because we are talking about an intelligent system. So I want to start with what a system is. And the best way to explain that, or when we talk about a system, the first thing that comes to my mind is my biology class. Now, I remember when we're taught in biology, or we're introduced to the concept of cell. When told that when two or more cells combine together or function together, they form a tissue. Now, when we have tissues, different tissues working together form an organ, and different organs working together forms a system. So when you hear a system, it's simply different parts working together as one. That's a system. So when we talk about the growth system, when we talk about the computer system, I remember those days when we were learning computer, back in those days when we were learning Mavis, Beacon and all. They will tell you, okay, what are the components of computer system? I don't know if you guys, Gen Zs, you guys may not know that again, because they were, I can't imagine why that is actually something that they will teach us. They say we should list the components of a computer system. So we have CPU, we have mouse, we have monitor, we have keyboard, because in those days, those things are separated, right? Now we have everything together. So you guys don't understand what that means. So when mouse, CPU, monitor, screen, if you understand it, when they work together, they form what we call a computer system. Now, I showed us that image at first to tell us that one of the perfect example of a system is clock. So if you are able to if you have seen a documentaries of how clocks are made, these are the different parts of clocks that works together to have your wristwatch. We have the wheel, we have I don't know them, but we have different parts of the clock. Now, even your phone that you are seeing have different parts. They couple them together and it becomes a system. So a computer, or as a computer system, a system is simply parts connected together, working as one. I think that is basic enough. And there are 3 examples of a system. Now we have the lungs. As you walk around, all your systems, we have 7. Your body is even a compound system, right? It's because there are several systems that work within your body. We have let me know those that pass their biology. What are the systems within the body? Can anyone help me? I'm reading your listing now. What are the system in your body? Okay, the hardware and the software component. The brain? No. I want you to tell me like a biology student. Thank you. Looking for the digestive system, the reproductive system, the nervous system, the integumentary system. I've never heard of that. The endocrine system, the respiratory system, the skeletal system, the circulatory system, the cardiovascular system. This one is going deep into what's now? Into anatomy now. Okay, thank you so much. You guys see, that's why I say you guys are very brilliant. So now, so these are different systems that work together to make you a human being. So you have an idea of what I mean, for example. Now, but one good thing you need, one of the tests, one of the diagnostic rule about a system is that when you remove part of a system, the entire component stops working. That's one of the diagnostic rules. If you remove a part of the system, an important part of the system, every other thing stops working. That's why when you have heart failure, you die immediately. Why? Because the system that is responsible for keeping every other system active by pumping blood to them so that they can be oxygenated stops, and so you die. So that's one of the diagnostic rules. And I want us to understand this because we're talking about an intelligence system. So when we talk about an intelligence system, you should understand what the system part of the intelligence means. Now, to look at it, we have two types of system. We have what we call the standard system and the intelligence system. Now, the standard systems are fixed. You give them fixed instructions, they perform that instructions, and they don't perform any other thing else. Now, the intelligence system, on the other hand, which is what we are going to focus on, is different from standard system in a sense that intelligence system is able to learn from data and is able to make decisions on their own and is able to stand on its own and function. Now, a standard system needs to be consistently instructed to change course. So, as long as your wristwatch has been fixed, except you come to that wristwatch and try to change the course of the wristwatch, okay, it will continue to run without changing course. Now, if your wristwatch is falling to the ground, your wristwatch cannot understand that it's falling and protect itself from breaking. So when it falls, it breaks. Okay? So that's a fixed system. A car, for example, if the stereo of a car, especially a standard car, of course, we have smart cars these days, but a car that is not smart, an analog car, for example, if you allow it to move and it's going to hit something, that car goes and hits something without changing course, even though that is not what the car has originally been instructed to do. So a standard system does not follows a strict and a fixed instructions, and until those instructions changes, the way the system works continues. Now, an intelligence system, on the other hand, is different from the standard system because it is able to learn and make decisions on their own. Guys, please, I want you to take note of this. And I want you to understand this before we continue. So when we're talking about an intelligence system, it learns from data and make decisions. Follow me. So a standard decision follows instruction perfectly. It is static and the outcome is the same regardless of the result. It repeats the same behavior. It refuses the same behavior regardless of the result. Is anybody decoding? Now we are moving. You are moving to how intelligence system can make you stand out now. A lot of us are designed to be intelligent system, but we function as standard system. We follow instructions perfect. We are very good at following instructions. And again, now, instructions come from different places. And we're going to talk about that in details. Today, I just want to brush on these two types of systems. But as as a human, you are a system on your own. And in fact, you are a multi-system. There are several parts of your life that's a system. Your career is a system because different components work together to make your career work. Now, your relationship with God, your spiritual life is a system because different parts of your life works together around that area. Now, some of us are intelligent system biologically. We think, we make decisions biologically. We adapt when you're bringing your hands to the fire, automatically you discover that there is a response that comes to you and you take your hand from the fire. That is adaptability. That means you're an intelligent system. By biology, by design, you are an intelligent system. And we're going to see why that happened. But when you look at other parts of your life, other systems in your life, you agree with me that you have not been as good as you are more of a standard. It has been more of a standard system than an intelligent system. Because a standard system repeats the same behavior regardless of the result. It doesn't learn from mistakes. It takes instructions and that's all. And it continues to go without changing course. So a standard system and an intelligent system. So please, I want you to take note of this because it's very important. Because if you must stand out, you must learn when you come into the room, you must try to understand what is acceptable in that room. And then you position yourself to stand out in that room. So a lot of us, okay, when I was interviewing some of you asked a very intelligent question. About a few of you asked a very intelligent question. And that made me understand that these guys are intelligent. They are an intelligent system. What was the question? The question was, what does success mean in this organization? And I know that this is what a lot of you don't understand. Now, show off. I want to see a show of hand. When you were, for some of you that are still students, or for some of you that are in the university, how many of you try to understand how many of you have your course curriculum, not the one that the lecturer gives you? Now, you have access to the curriculum of your course before you graduated. How many of you? I want to see yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Yes for those that have, no for those that doesn't have. You saw the curriculum of your course before you graduated. How many of you? Yes. Okay. Tijani say yes. Simeon say yes. Lola say yes. Isaac said no. Nifemi say yes. Saminu say no. Pemi say yes. Peace say no. Daniel Yodo say yes. Jimra said no. Okay. Good. Now, how many of you have read the handbook for this program? For GMP 2026, how many of you have read the handbook? Again, I want to see, give me a thumbs down if you've not. Give me a thumbs up if you have read it. Thumbs down if you have. Thumbs up if you have. Thumbs down if you've not. Okay. Patience have not. Okay. Emmanuel have. Okay. Aminu has. Great. Don't lie here. Don't lie because I'll catch you. Because I'll ask questions now about it. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs down. I'm seeing some thumbs up. Now, this is great. So let me give you one tip. And that tip had always worked for me wherever I go. Now, I'm going ahead of myself. And that's how an intelligent system thinks. Now, when you come to a place, to stand out, I don't know if I mentioned that in one of my videos. To stand out is very simple. The first question you ask is, what does success mean here? What does it mean to succeed in this place? That's the first thing you ask when you come to a place. And that's how to stand out. If it is in a workplace, what are the KPIs? What are the performance? How are performance measured? You need to ask yourself, what does success mean here? In fact, you need to even break it down to ask, example, if you're a student, what does success mean to this lecturer? Now, there are some lecturers that needs you to give it back to them the way they give you. If you do anything extra, they don't want trouble. There are some lecturers that I will not say they are lazy, but they just want you to just go straight to the point and give me what I want. I don't have time to read through long things. And there are some that they want you to prove that you know it by giving them what they don't, what you were not given in class. Such lecturers, how do you know them? When they ask their questions during exams, they will always bring something that was never mentioned, neither in their note nor in the lecture room. But it's something that you are supposed to know as part of that course. Okay? Now, if you understand that, a lot of you were not able to graduate with first class, not because you are not brilliant, not because you don't have a first-class brain, but because you have not taken your time to study how to really pass an exam. Now, it's one thing to read. It's another thing to pass an exam. They are two different. They are never the same. This is not an academic seminar, but I want to just give that example. An intelligence system understands. When they come into a room, they understand what does success mean here. And they adjust themselves to fit into that success. So understand what success means. And then you invest yourself to achieving that success. To getting that thing that success means. A lot of you are working hard, but you are getting results. But the result you are getting is not what is required. Some of you are working hard. What you are getting at the moment, you're seeing result. Now, one of the problems with people that works hard is that they are working hard on something they should not work on at all. And that is one of the fastest recipe to failure. Investing your time, investing your energy, investing your resources on what you should not even be working in the first place, giving your attention to what you should not give to in the first place. Some of us are hardworking in doom scrolling. Some of us are hardworking in I don't want to go certain examples, but as I'm saying, within yourself that you've not really sat down to understand at this phase of my life, what does success mean to me? A lot of us are following what success means to others. Perhaps some of you joined this meeting or joined this GMP program because it's another opportunity to announce to the world that you've been accepted to a fellowship program. Good, fine. But if everything you got from this program is just to announce to the world that you've gone through a program, then you are not an intelligent system in that aspect of your life. Because you have not learned what does success mean in this program. So an intelligent system works hard, but they work hard on what matters. Now, I'm not an advocate of smart work over hard work, no. But work hard in a smart way. That's what I say. I don't say don't work hard, work smart. That's nonsense. Even people that work smart work hard. So you must learn that in your working hard, make sure that you're working hard on the right thing. That's smart work to me. So that you don't, at the end of the day, waste your time, waste your energy on what does not happen. On what does not matter. And that's what a standard system is. It says that system will keep working, and it will be getting the same result, and you still continue the same thing, and still continue to get the same result. Why? Because a standard system does not have the capacity that an intelligent system has. So an intelligent system thinks and make decisions. How does an intelligent system think? We'll talk about that. And they are adaptive. They changes with time. They changes with new information. They changes with they changes with new learning, with new data, with new pattern. And they improve based on experience. So I want to ask you something. For the past 3 years, have you sat down to take and to do an audit of your life? What have you done differently for the past 3 years based on the outcome you've been getting? Hello? So some of you have skills. Maybe you can code. Maybe you're a graphic designer. Maybe you can make hair. Some of you have businesses that you're running. Some of you are looking for jobs you have been looking for jobs for the past 3 months. For the past 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year. But it is the same CV that you have been submitting to workplace that you have not been invited to interview that you have been submitting. Is that an intelligent system? How many of you follow up when you submit an application and you are rejected? How many of you follow up to say, please, can I get a feedback on how I performed? I say again, I interviewed a lot of you. And some of you, after your interview, I asked you, do you have any question for me? Only 1 or 2 people asked me the question. Only one. I think it's only one. I'm supposed to get that name. She asked the question, how have I performed in this interview? How many of you did that? How many of you asked for feedback from the interviewer? And 100% of the time, I'll give you 100% of the time, when they interview you and you ask them for feedback, chances are that they will give you your result, even right there and then. But you go to a place of interview, they ask you a lot of questions, and they ask, do you have any questions? You say, no, sir. That's not an intelligent system. An intelligent system will want to get feedback. A lot of you have been, for example, you want to grow your LinkedIn, and you are stuck in 500. Since 3 years, you have been stuck in 500. How many of you have sat down to analyze, why am I stuck in 500? What kind of content am I posting? Who am I posting to? What time? What period of the day am I posting? Why am I stuck? Why are people not following me? How many of you have sat down to ask that question? You don't, because although you are an intelligent system, you are functioning like a static system. Garbage in, you just continue to do what you have been doing. You cannot stand out like that. You cannot stand out like that. So my challenge is, in the next 6 months, I'm going to show us how to make everything around you function as an intelligent system. I also mentioned this in the video, that of everything that God created, man is the only animal that is able to build a civilization. Monkeys have been in the bush since they were created. Goat has always remained goat since they were created. Insects have been insect. Nobody, no particular animal species has been able to build a civilization. And if you ask biologists or psychologists, they will tell you the only thing that man has and every other animal doesn't have is man has the capacity to learn faster, to adapt faster, and to get feedback faster than other animals. So the only thing that makes man stand out is the man's intelligence system. So when God created the heavens and earth, and he said, he gave man's instruction. He said, multiply. He said, go into the world, be fruitful, multiply, and dominate. Now, these were not promises. God did not say, I will make you fruitful, I will multiply you, and I will dominate you. No. That was not what God was saying. God is saying, I have given you what you have, what you need. All I want you to do is to go and multiply, be fruitful, and dominate. See, that instruction that God gave to man is still the same instruction you need to run with every day of your life. So when you come to a place and you are not increasing, you are not multiplying, you are not fruitful, you're not dominating, then something is wrong. And why will God have that? Oh God, please, damn it, let me know. I don't want us to pass 1 hour, please. Why will God have that audacity, that conviction to ask man to do those things? Because God have wired into man something that he has that he has not wired into any other animal, and that is the intelligence system. The ability to, we're going to define what an intelligence system is. The ability to think, the ability to make decisions, the ability to be adaptive, and the ability to improve based on experience. That was what God put in a man. So the reason why some people have been promoted at work, some people have been noticed at work, some people have been awarded at work, some people are getting all the grants and the scholarships and the recognitions, and you are not getting. It's not because those guys have a better brain. It's because those guys have mastered how to make use of their intelligence system. Because when you use your intelligence system as God has designed you to use, you will, number one, multiply, number two, be fruitful, and number three, dominate. Now, if you look at that, if you look at that instruction very well, you see that it starts from fruitful. And if you want to use it, it's be fruitful, do multiply, and dominate. So an intelligent system understands that being comes before doing, before outcome. Being comes before doing, before outcome. Now, for you to be able to perform surgical operation, what you need to be, what need to happen first? You need to first of all become a medical doctor. Okay? You need to first of all go for training, go for housemanship, and then you go through rigorous exams and tests, and they say, okay, this person has now become a medical doctor. It is after that you can now do surgery. And after you do surgery, that you can now do what? That you can now have an outcome of healing people or of curing people. So for every result, there is a being before doing, before what? Before result. So an intelligent system understands that I need to first of all be. And how do you become? You become by learning. How do you become again? You become by learning. You don't become by wishing to become. You don't become by you don't become by just declaration. You don't declare yourself, say from today, I've now declared myself a medical doctor. It doesn't work that way. You become through learning. And we're going to talk about that. That's one of the advantages of the intelligence system. After you learn, what happened? You now do. What happened that in the place of action, in the place of doing, is decision. You make decision based on what you have learned. You make decision based on what you have learned before you do. So when a medical doctor goes through training and become a medical doctor, based on what he has learned, he now knows what kind of make decision based on what kind of surgical operation to conduct. He now knows based on that decision what kind of drugs to recommend. Based on what? Based on what he has learned. Then after that, then there's an outcome. So that takes me to the next step. What is an intelligent formula? A system is said to be intelligent if it can learn and make decisions based on the action. Don't forget, a system is intelligent If it can, number one, learn. Number two, make decision based on what it has learned. So, a lot of us, some of us are stuck at learning. Some of us already have, everybody have a system. Your career has a system, whether you like it or not, it has one. Your spiritual life has a system. Your relationship has a system. If you are married, your marital life has a system. How you deal with people at work has a system. Everybody has a system. Now, some persons have moved from identifying that they have a system to learning and improving that system. But a lot of us are going through life without learning. And that's why the first thing we're going to talk about is, like I said, next week or the next session is we're going to talk about mastering the art of learning. See, look, if you can know how to learn anything, it's one part of the equation, really. But until you learn, you cannot make decisions. Who is the wise man? People define wisdom as knowledge plus action equal what? Wisdom. That means without knowledge, you can't be wise. So you can only be wise to the extent that you know. Hello? You can only be wise to the extent that you know, because wisdom is an application of knowledge. So if you don't even invest in knowledge first, you can never be wise. And that is why a lot of us are, permit me to use the word, are fools when it comes to some part of our life. You are just applying for opportunities. You don't learn. How are those opportunities? The people that are getting this opportunity, how are they getting it? You don't learn. Okay? You're not getting jobs, but you have not one day pick your phone. When your friend tells you, when somebody posts on social media, I thank God today, people do that these days for several reasons. Today, I just got a fully funded scholarship. Some of you will say, we just go to the person and say, congratulations, right on, bro. I trust you. More grace. Yes, none of you will slide into their DM and say, Oga, oh, come. This scholarship where you get, I'll be applying, how you take do. None of you is wise enough to do that. Then how would you learn? How would you learn? You're looking for a job, but you have never asked somebody who have gotten job. You just, now luck. They are lucky. No, they are not. Ask them, what is the principle? What door did you knock? See, guys, the day I realized that meritocracy is a fact, it's a fallacy, I stopped working hard. See, when I come to a place, I wrote something yesterday. When I come to a place, my number one thing is, God, of course, my best quote is, what is worth doing is worth doing well. What is not worth doing well is not worth doing at all. So if I cannot do whatever I'm doing well, I don't even bother myself doing it. And that's why you don't find me everywhere. What is worth doing is worth doing well. What is not worth doing well is not worth doing at all. So any room I step into, that room is worth stepping into. I make sure that when I leave that place, when I enter the room, my presence will be felt. Even in the way I introduce myself. That's what it means to stand out. And trust me, there's a way you can program yourself into the mind of people that they cannot forget you. Oh my God. See, look, today we had a meeting. We had a session meeting, like it's a group. So when I came in, everybody were sitting in one side of the classroom. I don't know why. Maybe because the first person stayed there, the second person stayed there, and the last person stayed there. So I discovered when people come, they sit. When I came and I looked at everybody was sitting one side of the classroom, I left there and separated myself. Now, notice, I was still talking to them from my own angle. So when it was time for the person that is speaking to make illustration, it was easier for the person brains to pick the person that have been sitting outside of the people, because it was like, when they come, why is this guy just sitting here? And pick me and use me for that. Did not give me anything, but that is me positioning myself to stand out in the head of those people. in the head of the person that is coming in. That is intelligence system. And more of these tips are coming. When you come to a place and when they say introduce yourself, you just say your name and maybe your village, the village you came from. No, you don't do that. There is a way you introduce yourself that after the meeting, people will come to you and ask, hello, have you come to a place that it is people that comes to you? People comes to you because they want to know more about what you do. Because you have positioned yourself. See, when I come to a place, when I come to a conference, my wife used to say that most of the conferences that I go to, when they take pictures, my pictures must show. Guys, let me tell you something. You see this thing we are talking about? It's not for showmanship. It's strategic positioning, and it comes as a result of intelligence system. Trust me, I've seen it work several times. I can't waste my money and go for a conference and I don't come back with a deal. No, it can't happen. So when it's time to answer, as this person is thinking, I'm asking. In fact, I could still remember. In fact, I could still remember the last one I went to. I recorded the meeting with my ChatGPT, the presentation with ChatGPT. I recorded it with ChatGPT, and after the recording, I asked ChatGPT, please give me one intelligent question to ask. And when I asked that question, the presenter was like, wow. After the meeting, I went there and introduced myself. He said, yes, I remember you are the one that asked the question. Gave me his card. And because of that, my team from the university, we are going to go through his tour. Like, we're going to tour his factory to see how cultivated meat looks like. He said, we don't allow people to come in, but because of you guys can come in. Strategic positioning come as a result of what? Intelligence system. So what you want to do tonight, or what I want to establish tonight, is this: a system is two parts. That means, what's my time, please? I can't see my time because, okay, 3 minutes more. A system is different parts working together to do what? As one. And how do you know that this is a system? When you take an important part, every other thing stops working. What's an intelligence system? An intelligence system is a system that has the ability to learn, to make decisions, to learn and make decisions based on that learning. Now, before I open floor for introduction, that means an intelligence system, number one, captures data. Number two, analyze data. Number three, interpret the data. And number four, make decisions based on that data. An intelligence system captures data, it analyzes data, it interprets data, and make decisions based on that data. Now, I want you to pick your career, for example. If I should ask you, when it comes to your career, how much of information of your own career positioning do you know? Do you have them? So in the course of the next 6 months, we're going to talk about how do you capture data that can make you an intelligence. How do you know what type of data to capture? Then how do you analyze those data? And when I mean data, I'm not talking about computer data. Guys, forget about the data. I'm just giving it. So how do you capture information? How do you analyze those information? Then how do you interpret those information so that you can make an informed decision? This is what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be looking at, number one, mastering the art of learning. And learning involves capturing data, analyzing data, and interpreting data. That is learning. Learning is not just reading books. Learning is sitting down to capture data. You analyze that data and you interpret the data. You're not making decision with it. You just, okay, this is A. This thing is green. This thing is blue. That is data capturing. Then you say, this blue thing seems to be taller than the green one. That is analysis. Because of that, all the blues seems to be taller than the green. That is an interpretation. That means if it is blue, it should be taller. That is an interpretation. That is what learning means. That is one. So in every of your learning, it's not just getting as much information. If it is getting information, that is simple. So we're going to talk about how can you strategically position yourself to get the information you need now. Because the problem, we're not in the era of the era we are now. It's not those that have information that are the advantage, because there is nothing you cannot. If you want to code today, if anything you want to build today, if it can be, you can build it without learning how to code. Guys, you see the platforms that we are using at NICOP, I built it from ground up 100% without writing a single line of code. A single line of code. How many of you know that information exists? Some of you might have noticed. None of you might have noticed. But then, that is gathering data. So you need to know what you need to be knowing now. That's the most important thing. How do I capture the right kind of data? See, I tell people that, the new definition of intelligence, before they say somebody's intelligence when he knows a lot. That is not definition now, because there is no, you have no advantage by knowing things on your head. No advantage at all. Why? Because everything you think you know, I can just ask ChatGPT and ChatGPT will tell me. So the new kind of intelligence is your ability to ask the right question. Because all the answers now exist. So when you have the answers in your brain, when you have the answers in your head, you are not at advantage. No, that's why professors are not advantage these days. So you see that thing they taught you in school, right? To read and cram and pass and no. See, yes, you can sound intelligent, but that's not intelligence. The current level of intelligence, how do I know the right question to ask? Because whatever I want today, I can get it in my fingertips. How do I know the right? A lot of us are not getting answers because we don't even know what to ask. So your learning is going to help you learn how to know how to ask the right kind of question. Then after that, then we'll talk about decision-making process. We understand. We open your brain and we'll tell you how your brain learns. We'll talk about pattern. That an intelligent system grows. We'll talk about how the intelligent system grows. They improve, and they improve based on what they learn from their pattern. I would love to stop here for tonight. We'll continue from next time. I want to take questions if there are any. Do you have any question? Do we have any question? That means anyone? You can unmute and ask or raise your hand, and then I can call on you. If you don't have question, I have question. Do we have any question tonight? Is there any hand up? Okay, I can see Adesina. Please go ahead.
Oh, hi. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for this section.
You're welcome.
So you talked about how intelligence system is learning and making decision on that learning and everything that comes with everything. Do you think our feelings, just like how Mr. Chiman said, our mindset is the lens in which we view people, event, and everything else. Do you think our mindset, our feelings, emotions, resilience, greed, passion, purpose, everything is part of that system? Because as an intelligent person or system, we tend to make use of our emotions a lot, and it tends to blind us a lot in when making decisions. So do you think it's also an intelligent system? Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. That's a very intelligent question. Now, notice that we started with growth, the growth mindset. One of the things I want you to learn is, please try as much as you can, if you can, to connect the dot of everything we're going to be doing in the next 6 months. Now, we have deliberately lined up this module because they are all interconnected. Now, when we talk about the intelligence system, your mindset is a system on its own, and it's an intelligent one. Do you understand? You guys have heard about, I don't need to go details into what Shiman has captured, but your mindset is a system on its own, and it's an intelligent system. It learns through pattern, all right? And as a matter of fact, unconsciously, it affects what you become or what you don't become. That's why the first thing we started with is to deal with that a mindset that is fixed, and understand a growth. Understand that you're supposed to look at everything from the lens of a growth mindset. Now, after that has been done, the next thing is you need to now understand what are those things you can do based on, because you have changed your mindset does not automatically change you. Hope you know that. Because you know that, okay, I'm born to be great, because you know that I can win a scholarship, because you know that I can do anything, because you have a good mindset or a growth mindset does not automatically transform that you will grow. Now, the next step is to take action, and one of those actions is learning and improving. So they are not they are not separate. They are all interconnected. So answer your question simply, yes, your mindset is part of that system, and that's why we have to first of all deal with it in a separate session. After that part of you is done with, then you need to start getting into action, and getting into that action is understanding, is learning. So please don't get this distracted. When we talk about intelligence system, forget about the buzzword. Is ability to learn, and based on that learning, make decision, and based on that decision, you improve. Ability to learn, make decision, improve. Don't forget what I said. Your ability to become by learning. Then, based on that learning, you make decision by doing, and then you get a result. So that's an intelligence system. So your mindset is the first thing. Develop a growth mindset. After developing your growth mindset, master the art of learning to become. After mastering the art of learning to become, master the art of doing by making decisions based on what you have learned. After mastering the art of making decisions, then you should expect an outcome. Do you understand that? I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, I did totally. Thank you so much for.
You're
Thank
welcome. Thank you. I can see your hand, Emmanuel Prince. Please go ahead. Emmanuel Prince, go ahead. Danny, please, can you mute this person that is talking?
Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Okay, sir. The question is, it's kind of personal, like this. For the desires of people, or would I say our needs, I would say is humans have the need for passion
Sorry,
and
sorry, excuse me. Danny, please, can you mute those that are Stephen Oluwatayo? Please, can you be muted? Thank you. Please go ahead, Oluwatobiloba.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I said that for humans, we humans, we tend to have our unique desires and needs, which drive us, which makes us human. And with a book I read, I think, what's the name of the book again? Habits. It has to be habits. Or this, it's by John Klein.
Is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
By James Clear.
Atomic Habits.
Again? Yes, Atomic Habits. So he tend to point out something about having some dopamine. Humans have dopamine, something like that. Have to be the desires and the rest. So I'm asking, is it possible for some humans like we, even though we're human intelligence, and is it possible for we to have these deficiency of passion and dopamine?
Now that you're talking about the biological system. Now, one thing I didn't actually want to go deep. Maybe we'll go deeper into it in our next session. Is the biological intelligence? Yes. Now there's a biological intelligence that such that we all have. That's where IQ comes in, right? I'll answer your question. Now we don't have the same level of IQ. We don't have the same level of assimilation. We don't have the same level of remembrance. So that's biological intelligence, and that is an established scientific fact, right? Now, there is also a kind of intelligence. So, but the what we are talking about, the intelligence system we are talking about, is not biological intelligence dependent. So, such that we're not talking about the ability to read and remember something. We're not talking about your IQ. No, we are talking about developing a system that makes you understand the fact that you can become whatever you put your mind or whatever you put yourself to becoming by the reason of by learning, making decision, and waiting for the output. Now I want us to understand that. So now when you talk about, is it possible that there are some people because of how they are made biologically, if I get your question, how they are made biologically, they don't have drive to become something great? Is that what you are referring to?
Yes. Some people don't just have passion; they just feel everything is now.
They're not passionate by the reason of their intelligence, and by the reason of their biological makeup. They're not passionate about something because of maybe. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. Now that's why there are. I'm trying to remember this term. And that's why we have like stratas in life. We have people. We have the high performance people. We have the average performance people, and we have the low performance people. Now, biologically speaking, there are people who, by nature of their design, they have no drive to become something great, or they have no drive to become above average. And that is have been in 100% of the time have also been seen to be contributed by the environment they grow up in. I don't know if you understand. So this thing is not straightforward. It's a complex stuff. Now, if your environment you grow up supports developing yourself, getting a high achieving and stuff, down you can break forth from that. From okay. You want me to go into my session next week? Now there is, of course, no, I don't even need to go into that section. Were you part of the 3-day section? Now you remember there is a rewiring of your brain. There is a rewiring of your system. Do you agree? Do you remember that?
Oh, sorry, I actually missed it. I
Oh.
didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. So if you're part of the system, there is a way you can rewire your brain. I don't want to go there. Please get that and listen to it. But to answer your question simply, yes, there are people because of their biological makeup, they don't have these tendencies to be high flyers or high achievers. But then those same people, when you put them into an environment that nurtured them to become it, they have a tendency to even perform above their own expectation. So it's something that is learnable and unlearnable. But I'll advise that please you listen to the previous sections. It can help you understand that.
Definitely, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll take some questions because of our time. I know it's midnight and you guys want to go to bed. I'll take some few questions. Say, do you recommend for someone whose intelligence system is at dormant, or what do you recommend for someone whose intelligence system is at dormant or inactive phase? Now, I need to ask, when you say whose intelligence system, what kind of intelligence system I'm talking about? Because, for example, someone can be intelligent, someone's marital system can be functional. When it comes to your marriage, you understand what to do, but when it comes to your finance, you do not. When it comes to academics, you know what to do, but when it comes to career, you do not. So when I talk about intelligence system, it's not like biological system. No, it has different facets of your life has a system, and that a system needs to be intelligent. So first of all, you need to identify which part of your system is not intelligent. Is it your finance that is not intelligent? And what does it mean to be intelligent? Are you learning from your past? Are you learning about financial literacy? Are you learning to make better decisions with money? That's what I mean. When it comes to career, some people may not be intelligent in their career. Why? Their career system is not intelligent because they're not learning, they're not adapting, they're not improving. Please, so I don't want you to complicate. So there is no like all-round intelligence. So when it comes to intelligence, there's a part of your system that needs to be intelligent. So you need to separate them. Okay, and that's why we have also we're going to touch. There's financial intelligence in this section. We're going to talk about financial intelligence. We're going to talk about emotional intelligence. Experts are going to come about emotional intelligence. People are going to talk about the career intelligence. People are going to talk about branding, positioning, strategic position, and all those things are intelligence. So when you need to first of all identify which part of your intelligence is not. Part of your system is not intelligent enough. And how do you improve it? Simply, just wake up. If it's not intelligent, that means you're not learning. You're not learning from what you learn, and you're not adapting. You're not improving. So what you simply need to do is to start learning. That's why you need to master the art of learning. You need to master the art of learning. If your career is not going forward, I believe in the place of prayer. So we're going to talk about that too. There's a strong place of prayer, but your prayer is useless if you after you pray for 7 hours, then you go back to your career and you still continue the same thing you've been doing, the same kind of sloppy CVs that you'll be submitting, the same kind of poor LinkedIn page. So if somebody wants to hire, they come to your LinkedIn. There's no profile picture. Your name is not there. You've not interacted with anybody for the past 7 years, and you come to your Facebook. What they can find on your Facebook is when you're eating a bar, you're telling your friends to come and join on Facebook, on Twitter. I don't know if you understand. So some of these things are the things that people look out for. People these days don't just take your word by it. They look at your past. They look at what you have done I don't want to go deep into that. So to answer your question, simply, if you discover a part of you that is not intelligent enough, start learning, start using what you learn to improve, to make decisions. That is it. And how do you do that? That is what this system is all about. Mary Olamide, I don't know if I've answered your question. If I have not answered your question, please shoot me an email and book one-on-one. We can deal with it. Now, and that question said, how can one translate knowledge into action? Again, don't run ahead of your shadow. This is just an introduction. We're going to talk about mastering the art of learning, and it means capturing data, analyzing data, interpreting data, and making decisions, this is where you're going to learn how to translate your knowledge into action. Thank you, Shama, for that. And that person asks, Esther, say, please, I have a question. Please go ahead and drop your question. Sunday said, please, sir, who is responsible if the system makes wrong decisions, sir? You are responsible if your system makes wrong decisions because your system is under your control. Now, there is a biological system that controls every of your system. So if your system makes a wrong decision, it's your system. It's your system, right? So if you make the wrong decision, that means it's either you gather the wrong data. Yeah, that is it. And that's a whole lot to talk about. A lot of you make decisions based on what you see on Facebook. You make decision on your career based on somebody just come to Facebook and said, I think on LinkedIn, someone said these days, he said, someone come to LinkedIn and said, maybe he just give you information that is not right. And based on that, you use that knowledge. And I want you to understand that social media is not reality. Creators are not real. Thank you. Creators are not real. So if you make decisions based on content creators, that's why, I'm very, very careful what I take online. Because do you know what influencers do? The goal of an influencer is to influence you. And that is their goal, is to influence you. And so whatever it takes to influence you, they will do. Even though it takes bringing a wrong information, once provided you are influenced. And what did they influence you to do? They're not interested in influencing you to take action in real life. No, they're interested in influencing you to click like button, to comment. Guys, Oh, Jesus. Maybe we'll have a session on social media psychology. So these guys, they are what they say, the influencer. If they're not trying to make you better. They're trying to influence you to interact and engage with their content so that they can get more revenue. And so if wrong information gives them that revenue, that is what they continue to post for you. Do you get that? So when you now make information, when you now gather such information, and then you make decision based on that information, your intelligence system definitely is going to make a wrong decision because the information upon which that system is making decision is faulty. So a lot of us are making life decisions, making career decisions from the people we should not even be listening to at all. That's why the first thing we're going to talk about in mastering the art of learning is go and do your social media audit. Who are you following? If these guys, if you list the top 10 priorities of your life, where you want to be in the next 10 years, and these guys has nothing to contribute to it, unfollow them. Guys, I beg, time have gone. So if your intelligence system is making wrong decision, you are responsible for it. You said, I believe this is still in the mind, though. I believe that's still in the mind. Juliet, okay, make me understand what you mean. He said, how does we unlearn or destroy a standard system that brought us with it? Again, then don't miss any session. We're going to talk about it. How to unlearn, how to convert your standard system into an intelligence system. Sir, is intelligence system more about asking the right question than knowing the answers? No, don't get me wrong. That's not what I said. I'm not saying that intelligence system is not about getting the right question. Why do you even want to ask the right question in the first place? It's because you want to know the answer. So, but if you can't even know the answer if you don't know the right question to ask, what I mean by that is that the current level, the intelligence is not measured by how much you know at the moment. It is measured by how much you can answer the question, or you can ask the right question so that you can get what you know, because everything you know is already, everything you want to know is there somewhere. So intelligence system is not just about asking the right question and knowing the answer. It's about both of them. It's about asking the right question and getting the right answer. But that person said, thank you, sir. I understand that intelligence system is multifaceted and applicable in each areas of our lives. However, is there a time it becomes an automatic response, sir? Of course, because intelligence system works by pattern, and once you set up the system, it becomes automated. We're going to talk about again automation. Oh, so you guys are already going through maybe I'll share my curriculum with you. Yes, you can automate it when you have gotten enough answers. When you have got enough, see. Can you ever ask yourself why people who get results continue to get the result? It's because they have automated results making process. Because they have automated result making process. Okay, by the special grace of God, if I should put my I've done few interviews in my life, like few. I can count how many interviews I've done, and I can count how many interviews I've lost. That means I'm doing something right. Right, and so I've already understand I've automated my interview. So if I apply for a thing and once I make it to the interview stage, I must go to the next stage. So that is it. I've gotten some. So yes, to answer your question, yes, and we'll explain that in details as we go. How do intelligence system balance logic and intuition? What do you mean by that? Esther, can you in plain word tell me what you mean by logic and intuition? Okay. I think with that we come to the end of today's session. Esther, please shoot me an email. I don't want to keep us here longer. It's night already, and I want to keep it 1 hour so that we know that it's within 1 hour. I'll try and structure my lesson to be 45 minutes, and then after the 45 minutes, we'll go into it. So all these nitty-gritties that we do at the beginning, we'll not do it again. Thank you so much for joining the After Hours class. Now, I want you to understand that this is the growth mentorship program. So if you want to speak with me, shoot me an email. Everybody already has my email. Shoot me an email and I'll respond. I may not respond immediately, but I'll respond eventually. Again, this process is designed to make you come to the room and people get you noticed. And when you leave the room, they will notice your absence as well. So what you have learned tonight, go back, go through it, look at your life, tell yourself at what part of your system is still standard. What have you not been learning? If you are not learning, and how do you know it's standard? You're not learning, you're not improving. You've been doing the same thing over and over and over and getting the result that you don't like. So go back and start auditing them. And then if you are getting the same result, now it's time to now start learning from them. Guys, a lot of you are getting results already. Some of you are very good. Some of you, when it comes to playing instrument, we are very good. You are very good. But when it comes to academics, you are not. Why is that? So you need to now start asking your question in my academics and I'm not succeeding in finances. Why am I succeeding? Why am I succeeding in my spiritual life, in my work with God? Why is the word of God open to me and career is not open to me? Could it be that you are learning from God's word and you're applying it, but you're not learning about career? Could it be that? Could it be that? Could it be that you're not investing? If I look at your library, what am I seeing in your library? If everything you see in your library are spiritual books, and you are saying, God, why is it that I'm growing spiritually and my career is stagnant? It's because God is using me to tell you tonight, buy career books. Buy career books. Learn from your career. Learn from those. If everybody in your network, some of you, we are at the extreme. If you scroll through your Instagram, I'm a very good Christian. I am not saying that, but the first 100 people, the first 100 things that pop up on your this thing are spiritual prayers, declarations. These things are good, but guy, life is not 100. Life is not just. It's not just your spiritual life. It's a component. What happens to your career? What happens to your marriage? What happens for your finances? Are there no people who you can learn from? Guys, think about it. Gives you food for thought. I don't want to keep us again. Thank you so much for joining tonight. See you next 2 weeks. But before then, if you have any questions, shoot me. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.